guess it's technically not really the start of, I guess, what would be week 3. It's still the 14th. Week 3 would start tomorrow. But I am just coming in here to, I guess, start this vlog with a heavy heart, a confused mind, a bit of shock. I just found out today through some TikToks that I saw from an author, Rebecca Thorne, and now I'm seeing some things popping up here and there on Instagram. But apparently there have been some issues with NaNoWriMo and some of the people inside of their forums and in charge of their forums, and they have been removed from the company, and allegedly they have been involved in the grooming of kids and teenagers on those platforms, on those forums. If you watch my videos normally, because I do like book reviews and you're just, somebody who's following along because you enjoy my content, but you don't really know much about NaNoWriMo, it is ostensibly, it's a group that is put together to promote writing and the love of writing and creative writing in children in particular. There's a whole young writers forum. There's a whole big component of NaNoWriMo is these programs they do with kids. So they're very much linked with children. So to find out that this fun challenge that many of us do every year is tainted by these actions is upsetting for these people involved. It sounds like, and I'll leave links to the videos, but it sounds like there's actually 2 separate events on 2 separate arms of their websites and their forum. So there was an incident that has occurred on the Young Writers Forums, which is a separate site from NaNoWriMo, like the main NaNoWriMo site. And then I guess there was also an incident that happened within the main NaNoWriMo forums with this person who it sounds like they were very much involved in the creation of these forums. They had a lot of access, it sounds like. And it sounds like these things have been going on at least since May. And for the young writers portion of this, it sounds like many of the kids that were involved in that made their own website to talk about what was going on and to catalog the abuses because nobody was listening to them. And the only reason why any of this is coming out now is because I guess finally somebody went to the board of directors of NaNoWriMo. And once the board found out, they basically, the hammer of God came down. They had shut down forums for a day. I don't use the forum, so I didn't notice anything going on. I really just use the website to track how many words I write every day and to just put a little project up there. I don't really use it very much. I find it a very laborious website anyway. But anyway, I guess they have been coming down and they are moderating things on their own because they obviously can't trust the people they've hired to do this. It sounds like some people have been fired, and now this thing that's really fun to do that, is this good time is not so much of a good time right now. And I don't really know what to do. I know that there are bad people in this world, and I know that you can't always help, and you don't always know until somebody does something. But on the flip side of this, you knew that this was somebody who was going to have access to children and working in that capacity, and not just that, in like with their data and stuff. I feel like you should have vetted them. I'm just very upset. I hope these kids are okay. It's all very upsetting. In terms of these blogs, I guess, which are not important in any way, shape, or form, but I'm invested here in making them, and I'm enjoying writing my novel. Even though it's silly and stupid, I'm enjoying writing my silly, stupid novel. As of right now, while I'm filming this, I only have the first week up. I can't do a lot to change the graphics and stuff in there. I've already filmed week 2, obviously. I need to edit it, but obviously I will need to put some sort of disclaimer on week 2's vlog. But I don't think that I'm going to be calling this the NaNoWriMo Diaries anymore. I don't think I'm going to be drawing attention to the Nano organization at this exact time. I'm playing with what to call this, maybe the novel diaries or something like that, so that it still follows form, and I will, still attempt to get as close to 50K as possible in my manuscript. I thought about just stopping, but I don't want to just stop because I think that this helps me stay accountable. And the reason I do this is to build a habit. And if talking to you guys helps me stay accountable to build that habit, I'm going to do that. And I hope that anybody who was affected by this is okay, and they continue to be okay, and they've got the support systems that they need should they need to be supported mentally, emotionally. And I do hope that the organization gets their butt in gear. They do a lot of really good stuff. Ostensibly, it's a really great organization, but that doesn't matter if it's going to breed stuff like this. All right, that's a lot of rambling. My factor meals showed up for the week, so I just put them in the fridge this afternoon. Mercy woke me up really early today, so I filmed a couple videos. I'm going to try to take a nap now, and hopefully then I can stay up all night and get back to writing. I'm a little bit more in a groove now that like my characters are a bit more established, and I am gonna try to do some more work on just characters themselves. That's kind of going to be one of my goals this week, is to actually really fill out my character descriptions a lot more robustly on Notion, and really understand them a bit more, because I think that will help me to drive the plot forward when I know them a bit better. And I also think I'm going to go and maybe go back to the first couple chapters and flesh them out a little bit more. I don't know. Maybe going backwards is a bad idea. I will say that getting the meals sent to me is really helpful. Even if I wasn't trying to do some crazy challenge, writing challenge, it's still really helpful, because it's very hard for me to balance a lot of things with night shift, especially since we're on opposite schedules in this house. So at least for now, in several months, by like middle of next year, we should be on the same schedule. But it's hard because I don't want to make too much noise. And then, I guess I could cook, but then sometimes I feel bad, and then, I'm tired or whatever it is. And so it's so much harder to get motivated to meal prep at like 2 in the morning than it is to meal prep at like 2 in the afternoon. I find these meals very helpful. They are expensive, but when I think about how much food I've had to throw out because I've got stuff with the intention of making food and then just not had the time to make it, I don't know if it balances out, but it feels less wasteful at least. So at least when I'm spending my money, I'm, getting what I'm consuming everything that I've spent my money on. And the food's good. Halfway through this challenge, I think the things that are helping me the most to attack this, especially with how little I prepped this time, my free write, my little word processor, I think is such like a game changer for me. I love how I can't do anything else but write. I do feel that I make more typos on that though, because I don't know, we think it's the keyboard or how I don't think it's as responsive as I want it to be. So like I type really fast and then it jumbles up all my letters, kind of like a typewriter sometimes. But that's okay, because I'll just fix that. That's fine. But it's really good for dumping stuff, like brain dumping out. I don't like it because I can't, it's harder to like go back up. So like if you wrote something and then, you take a break and you want to like flesh out a paragraph that's like 3 paragraphs up, it's really difficult to get to it with like the keystrokes. There's arrows, but it's not like arrows. You have to like hit a bunch of keys to be able to go up, but it takes forever. So that's not really good. But in general, to just like brain dump and write, loving it. And I think using Notion has been really handy to organize myself and have like a one-stop shop of everything. I will be creating like a physical bibble for it, like I did for my fantasy novel, because I find at some point it's just easier to work stuff out on the page, and then that will kind of get translated into my stuff on Notion so that it's clear. like there will be like the final character descriptions, the final whatevers are kind of on Notion, and like all of the working it out and like writing it out and figuring it out were kind of in the Bible. And I think the third thing that really has been helpful has been having these meals. So if you're ever thinking like, should I do this meal prep service? Factor was good. I liked them. I started this other stupid romance book that I keep seeing TikToks about. Not because I thought it would be good, but because I thought I need to know why everybody on TikTok is reading this book. I don't know if you can see it. If you can't see it, I'll put pictures up. It says, How Does It Feel by Jeannie O'Reilly. Apparently there's going to be a second one. The reactions of people on TikTok, it's like, they're like, you're never going to see anything coming. This book, everyone's freaking out, right? Reading this thing and I'm like, why? It's about a lady who gets like accidentally brought into like the fairyland. And it just moves really quick. It's very weirdly done. Like it's actually not written terribly, but it's paced like it's on speed. And I guess there's supposed to be a very slow burn in it, but I don't know. Anyway, I'm like 60% of the way through it because why wouldn't I be 60% of the way through it? Apparently the ending is crazy and there's a twist. I don't know. It's going to be like, sometimes I like to do this and read things that TikTok seems to be into just to make sure that I'm not missing something. And then usually I'm reminded that a lot of the recommendations on TikTok are absolute bullshit. But this is fun. It's fun for me to have this silly little thing. Welcome to the novel Diaries. Maybe this continues as a whole series and maybe I actually finish this book and maybe I actually do something with it. I don't know. I have ideas for like two different like spin-offs in true romance style where other side characters get to be the main characters in a subsequent book, which is good to have in mind so that you can, plant seeds in the first books for the next book. I'll update you tomorrow with like actual writing stuff. I'll do some writing tonight. But yeah, it's kind of took the wind out of my sails a little bit. Like I don't feel as compelled to finish this challenge. But I do want to finish the challenge of writing every day for 30 days. I want to finish the challenge of trying to get, to some number target of word count. More on that in another update. That's it. I am rushing because I did not realize what time it is. But let me push down. Quick update while I update my files for the novel. I did get more written before work today. Oh, my computer's not up here. Oh, God darn it. I have to do this downstairs. I'm standing here at my desk and my laptop's not docked. That's what happens when you try to do something quickly. Updates in the dark. So it is like 5 minutes before I have to hop in the shower for work. So I did get some writing done this morning. We're going to find out how much I got written. And I decided that I don't really feel comfortable with everything that has happened, obviously. However, I'm going to continue on. We're going to do these updates as best we can. And I feel like I'm I'm going to keep doing my updates. I'm going to take you along for the month. And we're just going to make it our own sort of challenge that we will continue with for the month of November. And I know that doesn't really change anything in terms of what's going on or anything like that. But I can't give up on the novel. I can't condone what's going on. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Focus, Alyssa. Anyway, I got to go to work tonight. I did get some words written. We're going to find out how much. 255. All right, so we're sitting at about 17,000 words, which is nice. 17,244 to be exact. That's about like 750 words for the day, which is not terrible. It's not terrible for a pre-work day. Oh my God, I really do have to get ready for work. All right, so what was I saying? I still got to carry on. I'm not going to stop writing. I really want to keep going with this process. And I read somewhere once that it's like it takes you 30 days of doing something to really make a habit. So that's what I'm going to do. So with that being said, we're going to keep carrying on. I'm going to keep updating you in these vlogs. And maybe this becomes more of like a monthly check-in thing. I don't know. I like the accountability of talking to you guys about this stuff. So we'll see. I'm out of breath. I got to get to work. I'm happy I got something written for the day. I'm off tomorrow. Let's do it. Work, sleep, write. Whew. Another day, another poorly lit shot in this week's vlog. I I think I screwed up my back at work. It'll get better. We'll deal with it. So I have tonight off, thankfully. I'm just gonna try to take it easy. I guess it's a good night to try to like write as much as I can, just because I mean, like, what else can I do? It kind of hurts to sit, it kind of hurts to stand, it kind of hurts to lay, it kind of hurts to do like anything. And it's not even so much hurting, is that like my entire mid back is seized and like I can feel all the muscles doing this. I have been reading more of this. It has not just been smut, I promise you. I have been reading other books. So As Long as Lemon Trees Grow, and this I've had to take in like little bursts, because though it's about Syria and what was happening and has been happening in Syria, it is also so relatable to things that are going on currently in Palestine, in terms of what the people in Palestine might be like thinking, feeling, dealing with on a day-to-day basis. So to be in the heads of characters that are struggling with, do I leave? Can I leave? What are the risks to leaving? Do I stay and fight for my country? Seeing people maimed and hurt. And we just had a scene where like chlorine gas was used on people, and our main character is, a doctor. Oh, she's a pharmacist that's functioning as a doctor because they don't have doctors. Seeing her like deal with that, and realizing that that's what it was. They, originally they were like, it's this thing, and then they realized it was that thing and chlorine gas, and talking about things that go against the Geneva Convention and all of that. So it is a very hard read, but there's also this element of and not in like a frivolous way, like finding love in times of turmoil, but like the fact that we still have like human lives and feelings and emotions and things, that they still creep up despite all the chaos and cruelty in the world. And then how do you deal with that? Like our main character kind of has this like guilt over like what her life would be like if it wasn't in this time of chaos. Like maybe her and I can't remember his name right now, sorry, back really hurts. Like what could their life have been? Like they could have maybe had, like an actual like romantic love, but they can't have this romantic love because they're under this whole like umbrella of just fear and struggling to survive and all of that. So it's definitely a very, 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 very good and very interesting read. And I love that there's this like entity that she sees that's almost like her inner conscience, which may even be like an amalgamation of her brother and her dad, that kind of like talks to her, and almost like a separation of self, like a delusional kind of way, but like as a coping mechanism, she's separated out two pieces of herself, like one thinking moral compassy kind of thing, and another just trying to survive piece of herself. I think you can tell I really like this. I may have to do a full review on it. This was really good. The cover for my Bible came. It's just a cover for a happy planner. So I just have like an old happy planner journal in here for planner people. And yeah, so I need a place to like brain dump, and I need a place to like work out my characters. And it's kind of hard for me to do that on the computer itself. I think it's great to have the character set up in Notion, but I just find it very difficult to collect my thoughts, I think, is what I'm trying to say. I'm having a difficult time collecting my thoughts right now. I don't mind the sound room in the back. I just need something soothing in the hopes that my back will release. And I really hope it does release a little, because I do have to work the next 3 days. But anyway, so I am currently working on character things. So I figured I'd have 3 sections: character, plot, and then just sort of like a brain dumpy place. And I have this like character sort of worksheet that I like literally sliced out of this workbook, character workbook, because I liked the way that it sort of categorized different things. Like it goes through like physical appearance stuff and gives you a bunch of questions, and then it gives you like who are they related to, what is their speech like what motivates them, and like really work through who they are as a person. And I feel like over time, if I just go through this, and write it down here on this piece of paper, like in the book. And with this as a model, I can figure out my people a little bit better. So I'm going to take some breaks from typing and do that as well tonight. It's like 10 o'clock now. I'm going to get some writing done so I have something done for today. And then I might try to find a better position to sit in. I don't know what the better position is to sit in. I couldn't tell you. I haven't figured it out yet. Anyway, let me get some writing done before I completely run out of steam. I just wish we had any sort of muscle relaxer in the house, but we don't have anything. If it doesn't get better, I'll have to go to urgent care and get something, but hopefully it'll get better. I don't know what these vlogs are becoming, but I'm going to go write. All right, that's it for now. That was like 30 minutes. And it's time for me to lay flat on the floor, I think, for a little bit. And I have a feeling that's how the night's going to go. I'm going to have to change positions until it hurts. And I might as well write when I'm in a sitting position. But I kind of am liking this because I've kind of mapped out like 3 like potential books that could all be linked together, plus one little novella. And like, could this be the dawning of Alyssa, the romance author? or are we just having fun in the month of November? Because that's what we do in November, is we pretend to be a novelist every November. We shall see. We shall see. Hello. It is about 2 a.m. My back is not any better. I think I've gotten like between like, you know, like waking up yesterday evening and today, like 1,000 words. So I'm happy with that. I've done a little bit of like character development things. So I'm happy with that. But mostly I've just been sitting there with the hot water bottle in my back because my back hurts so much. So now on my very much needing to be replaced cutting board, I'm going to try this. I've had this one before, the chipotle rubbed pork chop from Factor. So it's actually, this was pretty good. I did like this one. The pork chop wasn't terrible. So I'm just going to stick this in the microwave. And I will say it's nice because they don't take very long and they are very good. And I haven't had to think or do a lot of effort. And especially right now, oh God, I have to bend over. When my back hurts like this, I wouldn't have wanted to cook anything. So I might try to finish this cider that I started when I got home from work. I don't know why I tried a cider this big when I was exhausted, but it's a cider donut, hard cider. I don't know, it was good. I think I probably drank like 1/3 of it. It's gonna take me 2 days to drink this. So I'll keep going with that, I guess, now. Mercy has screamed at me to go for walks, so we just did that. So she's currently planted herself on the floor. Hello, Mercy. You can barely see her, she's hiding. This is base camp right now. I just live in this pile of pillows trying to find some sort of position that isn't horrible. And I've been working on this, and this is my like mobile writing thing that I showed you in my last week. And I think it's doing really well. This is really helping me. I use this as like something to put the free write on. I think my goal right now, I'm like just past 18,000 words. I'm definitely not going to hit 50 by the end of the month, but that's fine. But if I can get to like just over 20,000 by the end of this weekend, this stretch of like working weekend, I think I will be happy with where I am. Maybe I can get to like 30,000 or like 35 by the end of the month. I don't know. We'll see. Because next week is Thanksgiving. Yeah, next week is Thanksgiving. I do work the holiday, but I also go see family, and it becomes very chaotic right around there because I don't know when I'm going to see people, you know? So, because everybody wants to be seen, then I don't have a lot of time to see. So anyway, I'm going to eat that food and I'm going to listen to some more of my audiobook. I have switched back to hunting Adeline because I just have. And oh, also this came today. Bakers and Magic. This is a cozy fantasy that I think is like Hobbits meet big goods or something. It's got like a Hobbit feel to it. I will probably not update anymore tonight because I'm in pain and I have nothing to take for it. So I might try to find some Advil, and that's about all I got. Hello, good morning. Welcome to my bed. I was going to do some writing before work, but I slept a little longer and lounged a little more than I meant to, but I did do a little bit before I went to bed last night, or this morning, I should say. So I do have something done for the day, so at least my goal of writing every day. That's kind of what this challenge has become, is just to make sure that I write every day. But I have been slowly poking around at my little Bible. I do so much better brainstorming on paper than I do on my computer. So one of the things I got, because I don't feel like getting a new printer or doing anything, is I just got a smaller kind of thermal paper. So I'm going to put, it's black and white and not color, which is not ideal, but this cost me a few dollars. So I just have some inspo photos for characters that are going to go in the Bible on everybody's character pages. So that's fun. And then one of the things I've actually been using ChatGPT for is, because these are mostly celebrities that I'm using as inspiration, is actually just making ChatGPT give me a physical description of these people to help me sort of brainstorm how to describe things. Because sometimes I don't understand how to describe people's physical features. I feel like everybody has an equine nose, but do they all, or is that just a very clear descriptor of somebody's nose? I don't know. Has anybody else noticed that? Well, I don't know. Most of you guys that follow me don't really read the kinds of books that I'm writing right now, but I found it kind of helpful, because then that at least gives me a pool of descriptive words that I can start pulling from to be able to to do this a little bit more easily. Yeah, so before I go to work today, I'm just gonna put these in the Bible and get it set up so I have pages for everybody started. My back is a little bit better. I found some Valium, so that was the best I had to try to at least relax me in some way. So we did that last night, and that's about all I can do. We'll take it one shift at a time and see how I do. Hopefully it loosens up. But I'm also watching Sarah Cannon, who I tend to watch more obsessively around November, October, November, December. She's a YouTube, an AuthorTube writer, indie writer. And I just find her a bit inspiring. So I like to watch her at this time of year. This is my favorite. I have a sassy, brassy, old-timey secretary. We love her. Anyway, I have to work on her sass a little bit more, but I've been watching Sarah Cannon, and I'm finding it very interesting how this news about NaNoWriMo and what was happening there, how it's slowly kind of making its way through the socials and the communities. And yeah, it's interesting. I feel like on YouTube, I don't hear people talking about it as of right now, today while I'm filming this update for you. And I wonder how many updates there's going to be. I feel like Sarah Cannon kind of talked around it right now. I mean, I don't expect everybody to be I'm never doing this again. But it does feel like it wasn't just one or two bad apples. It feels like an entire group worked on making this bad, because it's not just that there were individuals who were doing this to children on the forums, but there is some sort of complicity, you know what I mean, in the people that should have been reprimanding them. The fact that it sounds like there is some level of cover-up going on. Obviously, this is all alleged. I don't really know. I don't work for them. But it does sound like there was some amount of covering up happening. And that is the piece that really gets me. I mean, I think I would have been upset by it, and I would have been speaking out about it if it had, not been covered up and been a little bit more, they've been more forthright with people about what was happening. But the fact that it sounds like this was so bad and nobody was listening to these kids for so long that the kids themselves, at least for part of this story, had to make their own place to talk about things, to share what was going on so that they could get all of their allegations straight. That eventually somebody had to go to the board for this. The fact that it's been going on at least since May. I mean, I don't really know again, but it sounds like that's the earliest date I've heard is May. So like at least since May that these kids have been attempting to get somebody to listen to them. I feel like that's sad. I don't like that. So I'm going to keep watching, I guess, and we'll see. We'll see how everything shakes out. I am almost done with this How Does It Feel book, and it is so... I'll give you my thoughts on it now because I don't think it's going to change too much. It's not like that it's poorly written in terms of like the actual writing itself, like the paragraphs, the words, the sentence structures, all that. It's actually fairly fine. And this thing's got like 9,000 reviews on Amazon, and it's like 3.5, 4 stars, somewhere in there. There are TikToks with people freaking out about it. So like it's definitely got its supporters. It's definitely got something going on. Like people are into it. But like, I just feel like the pacing of this story is so freaking rushed. I don't care about any of these characters because it's so freaking rushed. And our main female character is constantly shouting like, I'm not trying to kill you. I'm just a scientist. And it just feels really funny to me. But like somehow she's supposed to be falling in love with this Fae king. Well, she's not, he's like sort of instantly attracted to her. And he does certain, some things to save her life that she doesn't agree with. I don't know. I guess there's just no chemistry. If you're going to do this sort of like hate to love thing, you gotta have some chemistry. There's gotta be some like sexual tension behind the like hating so that when they finally get together, you care. But like they kind of like had things, and I was like, it's a bit of a snore fest, I guess is my point. So I don't understand why everybody's like, oh my God, and freaking out on the internet because it's a snore fest. It's an absolute snore fest in terms of like the relationship, and it's too fast paced, and like there's like very little room for development. But that's it. I have a few more minutes before I have to hop in the shower, so I'm just gonna relax until then, and then yeah, that's it. Hello, good morning. I probably look atrocious, but last night was not bad at work, which is good because my back was horrendous. It is marginally better this morning, but when I got home from work, I had no power. So I wasn't able to finish the couple things I needed to finish right before I went to bed. So I'm going to do that now. And I slept a little later than I meant to, so I don't have a lot of time for writing, but I'm going to try to get a little bit done on the free write just to have a few words to keep the momentum going. I have fully embraced at this point that I'm not going to hit 50,000 words. Oh, but I did have something book related I wanted to tell you. So I am nearly done with As Long as the Lemon Trees Grow. I listened to it on the way to work, and I probably have like about another car ride's worth of the book left. And there is this twist that is occurring that is so good. And the way that this talks about like how we process trauma, and I don't mean like normal, more everyday trauma. I mean like bombings and shootings and all words that will get the algorithm to suppress this further on YouTube. I mean like atrocities trauma kind of stuff. This book is so good. This book is so freaking good. And I feel like it's kind of slept on. Though everybody I know that's ever read it has had really good things to say about it, I feel like in the overall community of books, it's kind of slept on. So this needs to be read. I feel like it's a YA book. Audience 14 and up. Yeah, so it is a YA book, but I find it very strange because it isn't dealing with very young people, but it's this. Please read this if you haven't read this. I may have to do a standalone review on it so it doesn't get lost in this vlog and people don't see it, but I'm going to finish the stuff I have to do for the podcast right now. So it's done. I don't have to worry about it anymore. Then I'm going to write, have some coffee, shower, because I couldn't do that when I got home from work because I had no power. So I had no water. And we're going to try to do work again tonight. And it's not a coffee where I get her down. I don't feel like no, come here. Hello, I have a present. I am done with work for a couple days. I've gotten some sleep. This is just to help me edit. That's not the present. This is the present. I don't know if you can even see it. It's these compression booties that go all the way up my legs because my legs are so tired from work. So I'm gonna go crack these open. First I have to show Jesus because I got them for us. And I'm gonna pop on my leg massager, drink my coffee, and start writing. I'm so old, but this makes me so happy. And tomorrow we go see my grandma. I'm so excited. Yes, that's it. That's my whole update right now. I got a leg massager and my grandma's. I get to see my grandma tomorrow. They're glorious. Look at them squeezing my feetsies. This makes me happy. Coffee, legs, and I will write. I have to start a new chapter and I'm not really sure. Marcy's playing. I'm not really sure how to start it. So I will just sit here and contemplate for a bit before I start. Between this compression noise and Mercy, I don't know if you can hear a thing I'm saying. You seem to squeak louder when I talk. Hello. I don't even know what time it is. What the hell time is it? It's like 1 in the morning? 2 in the morning? Who the heck knows? So I wrote a little bit. I started a chapter. I need a new chapter. I need to do a little like brain dumping and sketching out. And I think I'm going to do that. I have this over here so I can sort of just play around with some things so I can make sure I don't just kind of keep writing myself into oblivion and then I actually come back and make sure I'm following the beats that I mapped out. The only thing I did to prepare for this. And then I'm probably going to go to sleep because I actually have to be up during the day tomorrow. But I did finish. I finished Hunting Adeline. And now that we have read both of these, I think in this week's vlog, I don't understand why people are so in love with both books, because I feel like if you like dark romance, like really dark romance with like some taboo things, the first book is good, like kind of overall in terms of the things that happen in those books, and the way it's kind of written and plotted out. And I feel like book 2 just was like, oh my God, I can't believe how good book 1 did. Let me just create an overly complex plot, and like the plot didn't really hold up. So then I don't know, it was interesting in the beginning, but then once Addie and Zade get back together, I'm like, I don't know. Like I just don't know. I think we spent too much time with them like getting revenge to the point where I was bored. And then there was this whole section in the latter like quarter where they were just constantly bringing up babies, and it's just not where I want a conversation about pregnancy to be. And I just this one just didn't do it for me at all. And I know that many of you don't watch me for romance reviews, but obviously my mental health has been unwell. I need this in my life. So that was I'm glad I've read them, but not my thing, not my books. And then I also finished that How Does It Feel book that I said I kept seeing these like crazy reactions to on TikTok. And then it's got like 9,000 very highly reviewed reviews on Amazon and like a pretty decent Goodreads rating. And that book is not worth anybody jumping up and down about, because the plot is paced so horribly, so horribly it's paced. There's no chemistry because there's no pacing. There's all these like ridiculous twists and reveals at the end, yes, but they don't have any impact because you didn't do like any work beforehand. There's like no world building. There's essentially like a couple of the last twists in this book feel like they were literally just there to become info dumps for the next book and to explain everything that happened beforehand, because it's not explained really while it's happening. So it's just so bad. It's so bad. But like the actual like sentences aren't the worst thing I've ever heard. I don't think that a smutty book should have crisscross applesauce said it in like multiple times. I agree with the one TikToker who said that in a review. But it's actually interesting to read these things while writing not the same kind of romance, but like in the same space, to see the things that I really viscerally love and don't love, so that I can maybe not put those into my book. So it's not just wasted mental health time. I'm not really getting any value out of Pretty Boys or Poisonous by Megan Fox, but we knew that. I mean, I guess I'm getting some entertainment value out of it, but no. But I also want to like know a little bit more about like what did Machine Gun Kelly do? Because look, the poems might not be good, but some of them they're brutal, like they're mean. So I wouldn't hurt Megan Fox. She sounds like she'd send you just mean text messages, and you'd probably deserve them. I'm going to do some brain dumping. I've got week 2's clips rendering so that I can easily edit them. I'm happy that I started this chapter, but I have to do like a chapter that spans like a much longer period of time and does some time jumps to move the story along, and I just don't know how to do that without making it seem too stupid. But we'll see. We'll work on it. I'll get a time jump. I just need to sit down with my beats and a piece of paper and just kind of work through where I am in the story structure and also like how I need to get back on track. I forgot how fun it is to craft a story, and I'm kind of glad that I'm not doing this at the insane pace that I normally do in November, and that I'm giving this more time, and that I'm glad that this is kind of how it all shook out. I'm not glad why I lost so much steam. I'm not glad about that piece, but I'm glad about taking that step back and spending some more time on this. And to update the compression thingies, best gift I've ever given myself. Best gift. I think I know why it's so hard for me to write this current chapter, because we are at that thrusting point to get into puns, to get into part 2, act 2, the next part of this story, and I want it to be like good because this sets up the later conflicts that they're gonna have. It sets the tone for the rest of it. So this is like that tipping point into the middle of the book. And it's also going to be when they like both actually meet in person and not just in other like superficial ways. And I guess I'm just trying to like work through ideas, and I have 3 options. One rushes the timeline, but I'm not really sure what conflict it makes other than making my male interest look kind of mean and dick, and kind of being a bit of a misunderstanding, which I don't like. And then there's some more longer timeline options that set up some much more solid conflicts for later in the book. So I have to think about this. So that's what I'm going to ruminate on tomorrow before I start writing again. Sometimes you just got to sit down and write it out. You got to ask yourself 1,000 questions. All right, that's it. I think I've lost my mind. I'm getting delirious. I'm going to bed. We are off to Grandma's. Jesus' pumpkin gas. I've got my cute mushroom beret on. I'm wearing real clothes. It's not normal, but I felt like I needed to be cute for Grandma. So, and I have my Bible here to just kind of like work on things when I'm not trying to sleep, because I only have like 3 hours of sleep. So I might sleep. It's like a 2-hour ride to Grandma's. I'm very tired. But I'm excited to see Grandma. But I realized I really just need to work through what I'm going to do with this part of the story, and then I can write again. So I'm hoping by the time we get back tonight and I've had a little like nap, I will have decided where we're going to go with it. And I might just have to like make a decision and start writing and see if I like it. And I have to backtrack. This is when it would be nice to have a writing partner. Yeah. I realized I have to wrap up this week. So that's what we're doing. We got home in the early evening from my grandmother's, and we had a lovely lunch in her assisted living facility, and we hung out in the library there and just hung out with Graham, and I got to see my aunt and my uncle and my cousin, It was really nice. I'm going to put in a little picture of me, Jesus, and my grandma. She's the tiniest, cutest little thing in the whole world. I love my grandma. Like, protect grandma at all cost. She's 95. Grandma must keep going. So, anyway, lovely day with grandma. I did a little bit of like very minimal brainstorming while I was in the car, and on the ride up and on the ride down, I literally passed out. I was so tired. And then I took a nap when I got home because I didn't really sleep much before we went. So I was very, very tired. I set an alarm to get up. It's about 10:30 now. Yeah. I set an alarm around 10 so I could get up and get a little bit of writing in before today ends. And also so that I could like work on stuff for a little bit before I go to sleep again, because I do kind of have to be awake through a portion of tomorrow because I have to send out a Secret Santa present. I've got to send out some stuff and while I'm at the post office, I might as well send some stuff to Naomi, and I got to get some stuff from the grocery store tomorrow. So I do have to be awake during a portion of daylight. So I figured I would take a little bit of a nap and not end up sleeping throughout the whole night, which I could have easily done. I think I've decided what I'm going to do just to move the plot forward and keep writing. I think I'm going to take like 2 of the ideas and kind of combine them a little bit. And I think that'll beef up some of the conflict as well. But it leaves me with a lot of questions I have to answer. Like, how the hell do I get to like this scene that finally like pushes us into Act 2? I don't know. Tonight I will start trying to write my way there. I also need to figure out when like there's like a lot of like personal blows that are going to happen to my female main lead as she's going through a major life change. And I'm trying to figure out the best places and the most dramatic places to plant those moments within the structure of the story. I don't want to rush it, but I don't want to wait too long. So I just want to make sure that it's happening at a point that drive, our couple together and the story forward. But anyway, so another week is down. Next week will be the last week of doing this challenge. It'll be a little over a week. We'll just round out the month. Do we want to keep going and doing writing and reading, sort of vlogging content? What do we want? Does that sound fun? Do people like this? I know that people really like the sit-down videos generally a bit more. They do better over time. I also secretly want to make merch because somewhere in a comment on a video where I talk about not liking a video, someone used the phrase literary chauvinist, and I'm not quite sure if that's in reference to me or in reference to one of my friends or in reference to people who make commentary videos or reviews or anything online anyway, like as a general comment. I don't know, but I kind of feel like it would be fun to just have a shirt that says book chauvinist on it. I might make it. I might make myself a sweatshirt. It's the end of the week. I will put in what my final total is at the end of today. We will go over the 20,000 mark. I know that. I don't think it's by much, but we will go over the 20,000 mark. And I feel like once we get through this and into the second act, I think it might get a little bit easier because then we're going to be writing more of our characters kind of discovering each other and resisting falling for each other and then falling for each other and that whole part, instead of getting them to that moment that with all of their baggage and reasons for not wanting to be in a relationship with each other. We're getting there. That part's a little bit harder to set up well because I want it to be set up well. My GoPro battery died before I could finish that clip. So thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in my next video, whatever it may be, because it's my channel and I can do whatever I want. Bye.
So just sit with me, talking to the night until the morning, building chemistry. I don't think I ever